Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Allow me to say in advance, Happy International Women's Day to all of our young women. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. I was asking who we had in the room today. So let me hear, who do we have in the room today? Presal Secondary, Waterloo Secondary, Open Bible, Holy Cross, representing for the men, all right, all right. Tablan? Okay. And who else we have? Five Rivers? Anybody else? Success Laventille? Anyone else? All right. Let me see all the students who are doing science subjects. At the Form 4 level? All of you at the Form 4 level? Yeah? Form 4 and 5? Anything above Form 4? Yeah? So let me see all of the students above Form 4, if you're in Form 4, 5, or 6, and you're doing science subjects. All right, you have a nice sprinkling here. So let me see. Can anybody guess what my PhD is in? We have a biology, we have a chemistry, we have a chemistry. It's in chemistry. So I'm saying this to say to you that stream studies are extremely important. And at one point we used to say STEM, not so? It was STEM because we left out the arts part and the research part, right? And we were focusing on our students studying science. And as I told my children, some listened, some didn't, that if you study science, you can do anything after that. But if you don't take science in your early years, kind of harder to get into a scientific career after. And what is important about your science and your science training, your scientific training, is that it can carry you into different areas because it teaches you how to think logically. And that's an important, maybe understated role of scientific teaching. Do you know the scientific theory? I'm sure you do. You have a hypothesis, yes? This sound familiar? Yes, we say, oh yeah, you have a hypothesis. And then what? You do an experiment or you carry out a procedure, and then what do? You get the results, and then you analyze the results, not so? And you see if it worked out in the way you expected it to, and if it didn't, what you do? You revise the method, and then you go again. And you repeat that process. But that scientific method, isn't it really how we live our lives? It's applicable to anything that we do. We always say, at least in Trinidad and Tobago, doing the same thing and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. But that is the scientific method. And we use it in every part of our lives. And that's why it was so important for us as a nation, a developing nation that is on the way to being a developed nation. That's what we are aiming for. That's what we're hoping that you young people are going to continue as you become the leaders of tomorrow. As we head towards developed nation status, we need more scientific people, more people who understand technology. And we understand now that it's not just about the science, but it's about the way of thinking that allows our productive citizens to translate into any area. So you hear people speaking about the science of business. These are all understandings that it's a way of thinking. So the teaching of science is more than just if you're doing chemistry, physics, or bio. It's really about the way you think, about the way you analyze, and about your professionalism and your level of commitment and dedication. That's what it's about. And so that's why STEM could have transformed into STREAM, because we understood then that there's a science behind the way you approach the arts as well. And there's an important part of your human development that comes from your involvement in the arts, whether you're a scientist or not. So we start to understand that it's more about the type of thinking, the critical thinking, the type of citizen we are creating, and not simply about whether it's you'd have to do chem or bio or physics. And that is what we are seeking to develop in our young people. Because we understand very clearly that even as we are in the seats now, the time is going to come very soon where you are going to be in this seat. So our role today is to prepare you to take leadership tomorrow, and for you to begin to think about how this Trinidad and Tobago that we love, that we live in, is going to take shape. And what is your role in it? So if we have young people that are productive thinking, that understand that you have to do things and analyze what your results are, and if it's not giving you the right result, you have to be able to make an informed change and then try again. That's how we want you to apply your knowledge to the problems of our country. Because the problems of our country today are the problems that you are going to have to face tomorrow. So I want to thank NIHERST and Shell for their consistency in introducing our young people to different careers that are available in technology. It's no longer very limited. So if you study science, so when I was going to school, that wasn't too long ago, if you study science, the question was, what you going to do? Become a teacher? That was all that people saw out of that area of study. But now, you have all of this to expose you to the other things that are possible. And I'm saying to you, I'm a politician. My PhD is in chemistry. So there's a lot available to you once your mind is trained in a way to take advantage of the opportunities. Once you have the basics, there's a lot available to you. But if you don't have those basic skills, you don't develop that at the time you're supposed to develop it, it becomes a little harder. Which is not to say that there are not other opportunities to develop it later in life. But it becomes harder because life starts life in. And then things get more difficult to do. So this is the time where it's important for us to expose your mind, because we want you to think about all of the possibilities. So I'm sure that nobody here now thinks that if you do science, you're just going to become a teacher and you feel that that's all you could do. But teaching is an extremely important part of it too. Because I am sure that many of you would have chosen science because of some of your very valuable teachers who would have encouraged you. I can tell you for sure, the reason I chose chemistry was because of a secondary school teacher who was so influential. But even that teacher, and I saw her just the other day in the Exodus Spaniard. We are both Exodus fans. Won the Panorama this year, yes. But I saw her just this year in the Panyard, and she was speaking about, how proud she is of having influenced so many young people to go where she went, because I was also a teacher, a chemistry teacher, to go where she went and even more. So at this point, your options are so wide. And events like these, career events, show you these options. And that's why, as a part of our cultural transformation in our schools, we have said to our schools and our principals, you must have a mandatory event, must be an annual career day. You must. Because how else are we going to excite our young people into seeing what their options are? How else are we going to open their minds and excite something inside of them so that they could decide, you know what, I could go in this direction, or I could go in that direction. And the last thing I want to tell you before I leave this stage is this. It's all well and good to know what you want to do. That's great. If you are in school now and you have a clear vision of your career pathway, that's fine. That's good. But I want to tell those of you who do not have that you don't have to have that to succeed. Because life is full of options. And not everyone is going to have that path. And if you don't have it, do not feel that you are less than anyone else. It just means that your mind works a different way. And you may find what you want to do later on, or you may not. And your career path may be one that constantly evolves. And that's okay too. The important thing is that you use all of the opportunities available to you at this time and you succeed at that level. So every level you're at, you succeed, so that it opens doors of opportunity for you as you move on. So life today is very different from life a little while ago when people like me were in your position. There's a lot more on offer. There's a lot more exposure, and I want to encourage you to think about the non-traditional roles that you can fill. The animation. You might be into the arts, but you can't sing or dance. That's okay, because there's a whole production team behind that. So think about the things that you like. Think about what will get you to your next step. And even if your next step is not clearly scripted, because you don't have it in black and white anywhere, that's okay. That doesn't mean it will limit your success. I am someone who is exactly like that. So your success is open-ended. Thank you to Shell, thank you to NIHERST, and we at the Ministry of Education will continue to partner to consistently give our students the opportunity to be exposed as they were today, and to consistently have that opportunity for their minds to be expanded, so that when they get to our position, we can be assured that they'll be well prepared to continue to take this nation, because we're heading to developed nation status. That must always be what we think about. And always consider, young as you are now, what your role in that is going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing in years to come some of you speak about your experiences in events like these and how these experiences changed your life. May God bless you. May God bless Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.